Dave Andrechuk, along with Glenn Anderson, have scored in the second period. You got 4 assists. Have a pretty good night.
Very lucky night.
Yeah.
A couple of the assists weren't too pretty.
Weren't creative enough for you? Well, it doesn't matter. It's all. It's not how. It's how many, right? And Dougie Gilmour has 4 assists in the game. The Maple Leafs have a 4-1 lead over the Minnesota North Stars. Wendell Clark is out of this game. He has a rib cage injury, and unfortunately, Wendell's career is dotted with various things from shoulders and backs to rib cages. And in this season, near the tail end of it and into the playoffs, comes under some criticism from unknowledgeable media types, I'm going to say, about his character and his heart. And boy, when anyone that ever knew this guy or played against him knew that that was not the case.
There's no way. To be in the dressing room with Wendell, to be on the ice as an opposition, you fear him. And he brought a lot of elements to a game that you had to be awake in a game. Otherwise, he's going to hit you, he's going to run over you. Great wrist shot. He was a great captain. You know, the 2 years that we played together, as far as the 93 and 94 playoff runs and stuff, we had so much success together, and I got to know Wendell, and I think everybody that knows Wendell, he's just a great guy. And don't ever question his heart, because he's got the biggest heart.
You were probably in St. Louis when he introduced Bruce Bell to La La Land and in behind the net, which was a good indication for the rest of the players in the league to make sure you kept your head up.
Oh, exactly. I was there, and then Charlie Bourgeois jumped in. In '87 in the Canada Cup, Clarkie got let go, and his equipment was right beside mine, so his Leaf pants were there. So I signed him to Wendell, best wishes, Claude Lemieux. So he was pointing at, he was going after Howard Chuck, he was going after me, and he was going after Kirk Muller.
Because he didn't know. Done that?
Yeah, exactly. So we were all blaming each other for it.
Does he know about it now? Because you're letting the cat out of the bag here. He
knows. He knows. We're on the lake together.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. And we'll work on that. Well, Wendell Clark not in the lineup, but Doug Gilmour has 4 assists. The Maple Leafs have a 4-1 lead over the Minnesota North Stars. You're watching Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classics on LeafsTV.
Fontaine's got a break, he skates in, he scores! Campbell Evans at left, Mogilny to score!
I guess first of all, I'd say Alex he's got phenomenal speed. I think from blue line to blue line, I don't know anyone faster that I've seen. And he's been able to take his game to another level, and the scary thing is he's just going to be turning 24 shortly. And I don't know if that's hitting your prime or still on the verge of your prime. So he's just a great player, and he's only getting better.
Oh, he's good at everything. He does it all. I mean, he's got a great speed, and he's got a great backhandling abilities. And he can score goals, a lot of goals, and I mean, that's why he's Pat LaFontaine. You know, everybody knows that guy.
Bouncing puck. Ulanov stolen by Pat LaFontaine. Backhanded from Mogilny, scores!
After playing with Alex for a year and a half now, I think there's kind of a sixth sense there. You start to know where each other's going to be, and chemistry kind of plays a big role in that. And I think we like to play it at a fast tempo, a fast speed. And Alex got great quickness, great hands, and really he reads the play, anticipation, and hockey sense. And when you take it to that level, and you can both complement each other, it makes for a lot of fun.
We just, feed off each other, that we just have this feeling with each other, where we go, sometimes you don't even have to look, make a pass, he's there already, and you just you have a feeling about him.
Back out at center, LaFontaine and Mogilny combine, LaFontaine, Mogilny scores!
I remember sitting on the bench in the training camp for the season when my contract was like shaky and all things. We were working on my contract, and he said, "Well, man, come on, you're gonna score 50 goals this year." I said, "Well, I don't know, man. You know, I just don't have that feeling."
I told him there's no doubt in my mind he could get 50. I didn't want to put pressure on him. I was thinking more like 70 or 80. But with his talent, there's no doubt in my mind he could get 50. It was just a matter of things falling into place for Alex, and they really have this year, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
In the first period, Mike Foligno scored, and Doug Gilmour, along with Dmitry Mironov, drew assists. Gilmour setting up John Cullen as the Leafs took a 2-1 lead in the first period. Then Gilmour and Andrechuk's magic works again as Chucky scores his 32nd of the year, and Glenn Anderson with his 16th, and Doug Gilmour has his 4th assist in the game as the Maple Leafs own a 4-1 lead. You're watching Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classics on Leafs TV.
Play just underway, third period at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Leafs with a 4-1 lead over the North Stars in the first of a home-and-home weekend series. Toronto trying to record its first win in 4 tries against the North Stars this season. And with the win, they've moved to within 6 of the North Stars in the Norris Division race. Although talking to Pat Burns about the race, he is still far more focused on St. Louis than the teams ahead of him in the standings.
Well, it's been a long chase, and it's going to go right to the end, Chris. St. Louis and Toronto for 4th in the Norris Division.
What do you make of all that Hull talk in St. Louis?
I don't know about that one. That's a lot of money.
Here's Courtnall whipping the shot high and wide off the glass out to Foligno at center. Sonorti to Broughton. Checked by Cullen. Broughton tries to feed it back, and McIlwain knocks it out of the zone. Foligno takes his man out. Pair of 7s fighting for it. McIlwain and Broughton. It comes inside the line for Courtnall with Duchesne and Broughton. Foligno dove at it and got a piece of it. Then Cullen sends away Gill. Foligno or McIlwain dumped on the play. Play goes right on. Rouse clears it back in for the Maple Leafs as McIlwain goes to the bench. And the bomber comes out with Krushelnyski and Borshevsky. Todd Elling broken up and sent back in by Mironov. Craig Ludwig watched by Krushelnyski. Ludwig just leaves it behind the goal for defensive partner Johnson. Borshevsky intercepts that as the Leafs forecheck the North Stars early in the third period. Johnson, Borshevsky watching him. Off Stu Gavin and out to center. Baumgartner leaves it there for the veteran Rouse. Mironov mishandles it. Here's Churla, and Rouse came across and knocked Churla down. Churla behind the net, and Mironov quickly recovers. Borshevsky, he lost possession of it. Leafs getting sloppy. Here's Gagne. Hatcher's shot. Couldn't get through that maze of legs. Baumgartner against the board, slaps it past Hatcher and down the ice. 3 minutes into period 3. And a 3-goal Leaf lead at 4-1. Mike McPhee giving chase against Lefebvre, a couple of former Canadians. Osborne, a couple whacks at it, can't clear. McPhee, bad angle. And Osborne, and it's a 2-on-1 for the Leafs. Osborne, great speed, backhand. Wakaluk the save. Bill Berg after the rebound, tied up by Gagne. Boy, Wakaluk's been called upon to make a number of big stops tonight, even though it's 4-1 for Toronto. Good burst by the veteran Osborne there as well. McCowan shot. Ricochets to the far side. McPhee tied up. Lefebvre overskates it. There's Osborne. Berg free on the left wing. Berg drops it back. Cecil at the end of the shift just cleared it behind the net and heads to the bench. Gilmour. Hit Shodin with that clearing attempt. Now to the line, kept in by Mike Craig, and now it's cleared out. Andrechuk to Anderson. Glenn Anderson. Andrechuk.
Well, Tommy Chodin got trapped trying to keep the puck alive in the Leaf zone to give the 2-on-1. And Anderson made a lovely pass across to Andrechuk. There's where Chodin goes down. Number 33 standing in there all by himself. Here's what happens. Tenorti has to play 2 men. The pass gets up in the air, and Andrechuk on the short hop with that stick wide open like a wedge shot, put it in the top of the net.
Dave Andrechuk, 4 goals as a Leaf and a 4-point night tonight. Does Gilmore get an assist?
Number 93, Doug Gilmore.
Yes, he does. 5 points for Gilmore. 5-1 Toronto. And Gilmore is now 1 shy of the Maple Leaf assist record for a single game, held by Babe Pratt. Courtnall tries to center, jumps, and the shot deflected wide off the stick of Duchesne. Gilmore to the line, kept in by Ludwig. Now Elliott. Ahead to Gilmore. 5 points, 5 assists. Gets tied up with Anderson that time. Now Gavin. Hit by Gill. Elliott taken to the boards. Loose for Elliott, the shot, and Potvin got a piece of that. Tenorti. Cleared around behind the goal. Pinching in is Brad Perry. Elliott knocked it out of the air, and McElwain gets it outside the line.
McElwain playing on the wing, Chris, gives the Leafs some real speed over there on the wing. He played mostly center for the Toronto part of his career, but he's looked good on the left wing.
Out on the line with Cullen and Foligno in this game. Here's Elliott. Good skater inside the line, but the Leafs turn him back. That's 11 points tonight for the line of Gilmore, Andrechuk, and Anderson, as play is kept alive here, and maybe a chance for the North Stars. Elliott was dumped, and the Leafs get it outside the line. Here's Foligno with some room. Big shot to Wakaluk up the challenge. Makes the save and holds on. This game coming to you from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
Well, Doug Gilmore with 96 assists in his 96 games for the Leafs. The 5 he's got tonight have hauled him up into a 1-assist pace for every game he's played. Can't beat that. Andrechuk must think he's died and gone to heaven playing on the wing with Gilmore.
Trade looks pretty good right now. Only Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux have averaged at least an assist per game in their careers. Gilmore's Leaf career has been right on 1 assist per game. Mentioned Babe Pratt. That game was January 8, 1944. The Leafs beat Boston 12-3. He had 6 assists. Graves wasn't coaching the Bruins back then, was he?
Babe Pratt, the late Babe Pratt, a real humorous guy. Spent a lot of lovely hours with Babe in Vancouver when I worked there before he passed away. Babe passed away at a hockey game, which was probably the way to go if you were as big a fan as he was. And he's a good player.
One of the greats on and off the ice, no doubt about that. Gilmore a point, an assist shy of that long-standing Leaf record. Ken Baumgartner can't get loose, and Russ Courtnall will turn back, trying to get his offensive woes over with, and that puck deflects over the glass and out of play. Courtnall and the North Stars down by 4.
Calgary 2, Hartford 1. Reichel scores after Craven did for Hartford, and St. Louis makes it 3-2 in a tight one in St. Louis Arena.
Both Detroit and Calgary have the longest current unbeaten streak, 6 apiece.
The Calgary team, they're either winning a lot in a row or losing a lot in a row.
Boy, it looked like they were falling badly in the Smythe a few weeks ago, and now there's a race for first again.
They play San Jose 5 more times before the season ends.
Here's Courtnall's side of the net, feeds back to Norty, wrist shot, hit a leg, went wide, centered through the goal crease. And Berg whacks the puck off the boards down the ice. Tenorti back to get it. He's hit by Osborne, got the glove in Osborne's face. Elliott shot deflected wide by Zezel. And Duchesne turns on left wing for the North Stars. Elliott to the line, kept in by Minnesota. There's Courtnall and Gill had him lined up. Duchesne after it, comes free for Russ Courtnall. The former Leaf feeds back to Norty, can't keep it in. Under 12 minutes to go, third period, 5-1 Toronto. An 11-point night for the Leafs' big line of Gilmore, Anderson, and Andreychuk. And here's Gilmore. Bill Berg at the end of a shift flips it in and heads to the bench. He'll give way to Andreychuk. Todd Ellick for Minnesota. Clears it in for the North Stars, and Potvin will leave it for Rouse. Andreychuk's played with some great centers, Pierre Turgeon, Dale Howardchuk, Pat LaFontaine. He said Gilmore's the first center that gets him the puck. He doesn't have to go into the corner to get it for the centerman. That's been the big change. Here's Andreychuk turning. Moving in. Andreychuk trying to stuff it short side. That seems to be the scouting report tonight on Wackala.
He's got 4 of the 5 in that spot, although he hasn't had a chance on a couple of those.
Hasn't really had a lot of support, has he, tonight? 30 shots on goal for the Leafs, and Anderson looking for another. Flips it through, Anderson just tipped it wide. Hatcher was bothering him. Gilmore steals and centers it, and the Leafs had vacated the zone. Potvin out to center, feeding Gilmore, who flips it high in the air. And Mike Modano brings it down. Penalty coming up against the Leafs on that hook. Modano through to Craig. Crowd won't like the call, but rarely would on a call against the Leafs. Osborne for hooking at 9:50. The North Stars start the power play 0 for 3 with the man advantage tonight, and they'll have to regroup as Peter Zezel sends it down and goes to the Leaf bench. McElwain out there now, along with Krushelnyski up front. Shodin to the line, stopped there, and Krushelnyski knocks it down into Minnesota territory and gives chase against Tenorti and runs Tenorti into the glass. Shodin leaves it for Modano. Past Krushelnyski, over the line. Great move, Modano! Kicked out by Potvin. Another penalty coming up. It's a hooking call and a 2-man advantage coming up to the North Stars for 1:12 as Sylvain Lefebvre makes his way to the penalty box with an update. Here's Rod.
Chris, Zarley Zalapski, named for Kermit Zarley, the golfer, actually performs a pool shot. It goes off Sanderson on the doorstep, off Castles, off his cheekbone, actually, if you can believe it. And he scores his 14th goal of the year. It's 2-2 there. The Leafs aren't the only ones seeing stars tonight.
Lefebvre picks up a penalty to put the Leafs 2 men down, and here's the hook right there. And he might have saved a goal as Modano was headed for the light blue crease, and when he gets that close, he puts it in. This is a real test for Toronto here. Dan Maruelli right on top of things tonight, calling a good game, letting the teams play. They've been sensibly aggressive. Andy Van Helleman got hurt here Thursday night. He's sitting in Guelph on a large pail of ice, hoping that his rear end will come around.
Glad to hear that's all it is for Andy. Got preliminary word it might have been a more serious injury, but hope to see him back soon. Here's Modano, Shodin. There's the shot deflected wide, down low to Craig. Churla's in front of the net, so is Tenorti. Shot, Potvin didn't see it, but he kept it out. And there's Tenorti in front causing havoc, and Dave Ellett trying to get him out of there.
Well, Potvin felt the puck hit his pad, but in the crowd of legs and sticks and feet, He didn't know where it was, and three Leaf penalty killers converged to try and help him out. And here's the shot. Now they got Big Tenorti in front. You couldn't get him out of there with a jackhammer. And Churla's the other guy, so that's a big assignment for Rouse and Ellett. They did a pretty good job as Potvin was allowed to cover the puck with his leg. Mark Tenorti, he's been the best player for the North Stars tonight, but it hasn't been enough to corral these hard-working Leafs.
Rouse tries a second time to get it out, and Gilmore will. Down the ice, 43 seconds left in the first minor to Osborne. A long two-man advantage for the North Stars, and Courtnall gives up possession. Lost his footing on that big hit, but the North Stars keep it in, and there's Courtnall with it again. Chodin works the center of the ice. Courtnall, Chodin. There's the shot, doesn't get through. Courtnall now, shot right on. Gilmore clears.
Well, the North Stars line up with the two-man advantage. Chodin in the middle on the point, and their two big shooters on the wrong wings. Courtnall and Modano waiting for those one-time opportunities.
Osborne's back. Leafs one man down. Modano gets control out of the corner. Puts it across ice. Courtnall there. Osborne watching him. Modano. Tenorti in the goal crease. Churla still there as well. Courtnall did a good job to maintain possession. 20 seconds to go in the penalty to Lefebvre. Courtnall, cross ice. Modano one times off the side of the net.
Well, that's the play they want to get, that one-timer by Modano. He didn't get a lot on that shot, and it's a good thing he didn't, because he can really shoot it.
Now you can hear the ovation from the fans. Here's a chance. Hatcherin and Potvin makes the stop. Now the Leafs break out. Lefebvre down the right side. Hit by Ellett. Well, this building made some noise to salute the Leaf penalty killers. Trent Platt taken to the boards, and Borshevsky has it for Toronto. That's what Pat Burns wants. Great penalty killing and more noise here at the Gardens.
Well, if his team plays like this on a nightly basis, he'll get the noise.
Here's Bellino with the steal. Gagne recovered. McCowan drifts it back in. 6.5 minutes to go. Third period, 5-1 Leafs. Doug Gilmore with 5 assists in the game. Bob Rouse clears it in. Borshevsky, first man after it. Krushelnyski against Ludwig. And now the North Stars work it to center ice. Mike Craig hits the line with Broughton. Broughton around Mironov, centers in front. Craig whacking at him. Got caught up in Rouse's skates. Centering pass again. It's been sharp.
Well, Potvin has been tested a little more here in the third period than he was in the first two. But his Toronto teammates have done a lot to make this job as simple as they can. When they failed, Potvin succeeded.
He's allowed 13 goals in his last 9 games and has vaulted in a top spot among goaltenders.
4-1 in Ottawa as the Montreal Canadiens are grabbing the Senators by the neck. Emerson puts St. Louis ahead.
Rangers coming back. It's
Patrick
3-2.
and Graves score there. So that one's not over yet on Long Island.
After tonight, the Leafs will have 3 more games against the North Stars. Of course, tomorrow night in Bloomington. They have just 1 more game against each of the teams in the Norris Division ahead of them. Different story for the North Stars, though. They have 5 games against Detroit and 5 more against St. Louis. Here's Anderson with Cullen. And it's offside at the line, and John Cullen doesn't like the call.
Anderson fumbled the pass and half lost the puck. right at the last second, and John Cullen, not anticipating that, got over slightly ahead of Anderson to take the 2-on-1 away. He's questioning Dan McCord on it. John Cullen, the power play specialist. You don't notice him 5-on-5, but you sure do in the power play.
Got a goal on the power play earlier tonight to end a 12-game goalless streak. He's just happy to be feeling okay after that scary moment Thursday night against Vancouver. Said he went numb from the shoulders down for a few seconds after being driven into goaltender Kirk McLean by Dana Merzen. Was stiff yesterday, but has loosened up sufficiently to play a key role for the Leafs tonight. 5:29 left, third period. And the Maple Leafs continue to lead at 5-1. Jamie McCowan clearing it in. Leafs 15 points ahead of last year's pace going into game 56 of the season. North Stars were 10 games below 500 a year ago. They're 10 above 500 into tonight's game. So these are two of the most improved teams in the NHL.
Minnesota only got 68 points 2 years ago, and they went to the finals. They're sitting at 66 right now.
Courtnall and Duchesne inside the line. Courtnall waits for help. Here's a shot by Modano and a real jam in front. Potvin had company Duchesne there, and McCowan had taken Duchesne into the goal. And now outside the line, Tenorti and Osborne get their sticks up. So they start thinking about tomorrow night in the final 4:44 of this one.
Well, Duchesne went to the net without the puck, and McCowan fought him all the way, and they both fell in the Potvin. Look at that. These guys shop at the same Army-Navy store.
No wonder Grade 6, Pat Burns is the best dressed coach in the NHL.
2 for $1.99. I can't believe those two well-dressed guys have spent that kind of money.
Well, nothing amounted to that little shoving match outside the blue line.
Number 24, Mark Tenorti, 2 minutes
But
for
a
roughing.
couple of penalties, Osborne and Tenorti off.
Number 21, Mark Osborne, 2 minutes for roughing. Time 15:60. For Minnesota, Mark
You'll be
Tenorti.
interested to hear this one, Chris. 20 years ago tonight, Frank Mahovlich, one of your Maple Leaf heroes when you were a kid, got an assist in a game for Montreal against Philadelphia to give him a membership in the 1,000 point club.
We saw it after 40 minutes. Some new members to that illustrious club already this year, and Glenn Anderson now just 5 points away with a couple tonight. Here's Ellick. Can't get through, and Doug Gilmour looks for that record-tying assist as he hits the line. Gilmour dishes it off. Ellick, the shot scores! Number 6 for Doug Gilmour ties a Leaf record.
I thought the play might have been offside going in, but it wasn't, and Dave Elliott shot about a 50-footer right past Darcy Walklock, and Gilmour gets his 6th assist tonight. A nice little drop pass to Elliott to tie him with the great Babe Pratt. Here's the pass, here's the shot, and Mr. Pratt's record is now tied. And Gilmour, who's being tied up by Todd Elliott, gives the kind of celebration that Cherry likes. Just one hand up in the air. This is routine.
Dave Elliott from Doug Gilmour. Time 15:51.
And they're still standing at Maple Leaf Gardens for Doug Gilmour. What a night. And he still has just over 4 minutes to break the Babes record. 6-1 Toronto. What was that Bob Gainey was saying about controlling 93 tonight? Here he comes.
He had 1 assist in 3 games coming up to tonight.
Penalty behind the play. There's the puck. It's in the Leaf record book now.
Dave Ellett scores his 5th, and the crowd at the Gardens goes crazy. Not because of Dave Ellett's goal, because Doug Gilmour has registered 6 assists. And, well, last time anybody had a night like that was Babe Pratt. Did you know who Babe Pratt was?
Unfortunately, I did not.
A real student of the game, are you? No, you thought that Foligno played for him.
Well, he did play with him. No, Foligno, he told me that he played with Babe Pratt.
I mean, a special night, Dougie, and to have something happen like this, and it's like Darryl Sittler's 10-point night, and you can only imagine what that was like with 6 assists. Everything has to fall into place.
It really does, and you can't explain it, Joe. You know, going into the game, you know, some games you feel good, and you go out and you don't do a thing. Other games you go out and you might not do that much and walk away with 4 or 5 points, and that was just one of these nights. Every pass that I made went on somebody's stick, and they scored on them. So it's just, I was watching the game here and reflecting back, and obviously Mikey Foligno scores the first goal with a great slap shot, and those goals and those passes are okay. It's the bad ones that you don't even know.
There's a lot of those. Now, where does this rank in Doug Gilmour's eyes as the best game that Doug Gilmour's played in?
Well, I think, you know, you kind of reflect back as we're all getting older here, and it's a big game, and when I watched the game, it was fun to watch, and again, it's something that I'll never forget and I'll remember. But as far as the big games, Stanley Cup's always on my mind, and then obviously against St. Louis this season.
The goal behind the net and coming out in front, does that rank as the biggest game that you felt, or best game that you played in?
I think so, because just the double overtime and how Cujo stood on his head, and we had 60-something shots or whatever it was on him, and how Felix played. It was just a great hockey game, and it was fun, and to win that series, the last game, 6-0, I believe it was. It was a nice way to go out.
But this got to be in the top 10.
For sure it is.
Absolutely.
For sure it is.
Absolutely. Well, 6 assists. Dave Ellett helps out and gets the Leafs lead here that is now stretched to 6-1 as Doug Gilmour has picked up an assist on each of the Leaf goals. Let's go back upstairs.
Well, the Molson Cup 3-star selection is an easy one tonight. You're looking at the first star. I'd give them all 3. The Leafs are 4 skaters against 3 here as the penalty to Dave Gagne, and this is a chance for Gilmour to make it 7.
And tie the NHL record if he does. Gretzky's done it 3 times. Billy Taylor did it as well. Here's McCowan's shot. That hit Andreychuk in front of the net. Back it comes to McCowan. Andreychuk with it. Hangs on. Gilmour looking for it. There's Andreychuk off the side of the net. Andreychuk's looking for a hat trick, his first as a Maple Leaf. Gilmour to Mironov. To McCowan. Shot. Deflecting wide. Gilmour out of midair. Back to the point. Back to Gilmour again. 3:03 to go in the game. Mironov over his stick. And there's a race for it. Potvin out near the blue line. Rotten was at the end of the penalty kill and couldn't make that a real foot race. Duchesne picks an open spot down the ice. And now Tenorti and Osborne return to the ice, so it's 5 skaters against 4. Gilmour's gone to the bench, Mironov to the line, and Krushelnyski offside on the play.
Well, the Leafs have beaten the North Stars in almost every department. Their best players have been better than the North Stars' best players, highlighted by this 6-assist performance by Doug Gilmour.
Coming up tomorrow on Sports Weekend, History of Alpine Skiing, hosted by Scott Russell. That's 3:30 Eastern Time, and for the folks out west, 2:30. And next Saturday, more coverage for the World Alpine Championships and men's and women's speed skating from Hammer, Norway.
Well, Doug Gilmour's getting a standing ovation as they just alerted the fans of Maple Leaf Gardens for the center ice scoreboard that he's tied Babe Pratt's 6-assist-in-1 game record, a team record, as Chris mentioned, 1 off the league record.
2.5 minutes to go. Ellett shot kicked out by Wakaluk. John Cullen from the side. Borshevsky, 30 seconds to go in the man advantage, and the North Stars come up with it. McPhee to Stu Gavin. Gavin working against Ellett, and Ellett takes him out. McPhee followed up. Borshevsky is bumped but gets it ahead to Cullen. We'll see Darren Pupa in goal for the Leafs tomorrow in Bloomington, and likely John Casey for the North Stars. Ellett, shot, kicked out, Wakaluk, Krushelnyski through the goal crease. That hit Tenorti. Worked free by Borshevsky. Penalties over. North Stars at full strength, pressure still on, Ellett right on. Wakaluk down, and Tenorti takes it out of harm's way. Up to Gagne. Harry, two very thorough performances by the Leafs in a row after beating Vancouver. There's a hit on Krushelnyski. Impressive win Thursday over the Canucks, and tonight handling the division rivals from Minnesota. Anderson turns with Krushelnyski. Anderson takes a look. Gilmore's back on the ice, a minute 10 to go. Bob Rouse fires it in. Well, can he get the 7th assist? 1 minute to go. Here's a chance for the North Stars. Churla, Ellett goes to the front of the net, and Andreychuk comes back and flips to center. Johnson there. Dahlin clears it back into the Leaf zone. All eyes on 93 for the Maple Leafs. Andreychuk gives it to the man who has done it all tonight. Gilmore to Andreychuk. Shot in on Wakaluk, and he just flips it aside for Hatcher. Around the boards, Churla. Stopped by Mironov. That hurt. Here's Gilmore with one last shot at it. Anderson can't get loose. Ellett just clears it outside the line. And the fans now getting on their feet again for Doug Gilmore and the Leafs.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight beat the Minnesota North Stars at the game the North Stars play best. They outworked the North Stars. They played very strong defensive hockey, and the Leafs' best players, especially their best player, Doug Gilmore, outshone everybody here at Maple Leaf Gardens, and an almost perfect game, in the opinion of Pat Burns. And tomorrow night's game in the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota, will be tough to equal by the Leafs.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are tonight's Molson Cup 3 stars as selected by Hockey Night in Canada. The first star with a Leaf record-tying 6 assists, Doug Gilmore. The second star, Dave Andreychuk. And the third star, Felix Potvin.
So the Leafs, a huge victory here as you get set, Pat, to go off to Minnesota. Are you chartering out now or out tomorrow?
Right away, yeah, right away.
All right, the first question, the most important one is, how do you explain your brutal taste in ties?
I don't know. I think Grapes and I don't know how the odds of that is, but the exact same ties tonight. And we didn't see each other today, so.
I know. He came running in here like a kid, of course, and had to pose on TV. They don't have that, but we saw it on a split screen. Congratulations on the victory. We've seen the 3 stars. Obviously, all 3 of those players were terrific tonight. Who impressed you as well?
I think that that first line of ours of Gilmore, Andreychuk, and Anderson, I thought played super, and Zezel's line too. They did a great job. They were, but you have to go with everybody contributed. Everybody was up for the game tonight, and that's what we have to do.
What do you feel you did differently against the Stars, because they've had your number all year?
Well, you know, it's funny, Ron, because we've played them in such space-time, and usually when you get divisional games, sometimes you'll play a lot of people, and now we have a lot of games against them. Now we're going to get to see them quite a bit more, so, you know, I think it'll be different now.
Actually, though, through the stretch, you've got 27 games remaining. Only 12 of those are home dates, and I think only 7 against divisional rivals, if I counted right. Yeah. So that means you're going to have to make ground at the expense of other teams. Do you like that?
Well, you know, we did our job against St. Louis. I mean, so we haven't lost a game yet against St. Louis, but I know St. Louis are chasing us, and now I think, you know, we can be almost maybe 7 points out of second place. So we have to look both ways, I guess, but we don't want to go out of of what we talked about. We talked about making the playoffs. That was our goal. We don't want to get into a situation where we're going to get overachieving and then be disappointed maybe if we don't get the second or third spot.
Felix Potvin had an outstanding third period, especially tonight. Will you go with Darren for sure tomorrow night?
Yeah, I will. Definitely we have to get Darren in there, and Felix did a great job tonight, but I think it's time to get... I have a lot of confidence in Darren Poop, and I think tomorrow night I'm going to have I think he has to get some work, and I think tomorrow night would be the great time, especially on the road starting him there.
And Pat, we began with Don Cherry. I thought he spoke nicely to the Wendell Clark-Pat Burns story that's been raging all week here in this city.
It's been raging pretty bad, and it's a lack of communication, I think, on everybody's part, and I think that that's what probably started the whole thing. It wasn't a major issue, but it turned into a major issue. I don't definitely doubt that Wendell is hurt. I know Wendell is hurt, and I know that all I'd love to do is to see him in the lineup, and when he's 100%, we could sure use him because we're in that kind of battle, but there's no tiff between Wendell and I, and I've always been a great supporter. I like him. I certainly don't want to see him go from here. I wouldn't be a guy that would be in favor of trading him.
How'd you feel about this game for you?
Well, I think more than anything, Ron, we had to come up big tonight. We haven't beat this team, and obviously 6 goals, you're not going to see too many games that way. We would have rather beat them 1-0, 2-1, whatever it might be. So we got to take this in stride. We got a big game tomorrow night, and we got to be prepared the same way we were tonight.
What happened after the All-Star game in Tampa, and then how you rebounded against Vancouver? What do you think went on?
Well, hopefully we can use an excuse. We don't want to make excuses, but the timing was off a little bit. We did have chances, but we didn't have any finishers. So after we got back here, Pat was mad at us, and at times this team needs a little kick in the behind to get going, and he did that for us, and we've been coming out strong since.
This city so desperately wants a winner that anytime you do anything, the fans, the media, everybody's on board, so you can appreciate what Pat Burns goes through trying to keep it on an even keel.
Oh, yeah. He's very intense, and you've got to give 100% each and every night. If you give 100% and lose, then he can walk away and say, well, I'm happy with the team's effort. So, again, he's a guy that he's very demanding, and we've got to play for this guy or you're not going to be around.
I want to get to tomorrow and look ahead a bit, but first, last weekend in Montreal, your first ever All-Star game, lousy score and kind of a crazy game, let's be honest, but how'd you feel being with all those great players? You've done it before at a Canada Cup, it's your first All-Star.
Well, it was a great feeling up until my first shift on the ice. Next thing you know, I was -3. I was on for the first 3 goals. I looked at Keenan and I said, I don't think I want to go back on the ice. But afterwards, it was kind of a blowout. All we could do was laugh about it during the game because it just got worse and worse. But it was an experience to be there.
It's such a busy weekend. Mike Gartner said he could hardly skate, and you know what a clean liver and good guy Mike Gartner is, and he said he had no nutrition in 2 days because you're so busy with sponsors and card companies and so on. Have you ever seen the like in that respect?
Well, it was pretty hectic. I think you got to look at guys like Gretzky and Hull these people are demanding throughout. They want interviews, they want sponsors, like you say, and at the same time they know, I guess, the back doors, how to get away from everybody and get the rest that they need.
Well, you can learn that. You'll be an expert if you continue to play like this, and your mom and dad were there, and what great folks you have, and I'm sure they were really proud of that moment. Tomorrow night, the Met Center in Bloomington. How do you like playing in that rink?
Well, it's we played well the first game in there. We gave up. I believe we were winning 4-1. We lost 5-4, and we can't go that way tomorrow night. Darren Poop is going to start tomorrow night. We need him to play well as our defense and forwards. It's a combination. It's a team game, and we just got to go in there and play very, very patient because these guys aren't going to give up, like I said, 6 goals. They're going to play a good, hard, physical game in their building. So we got to get the puck in and work their D. And with the size of their D, that isn't easy. Finally, Dave Andrechuk, a word about the acquisition. Well, you know, people were being negative, I guess, at the first point, but here's a guy that's just so enormous in front of the net. He's got a reach on him that is just phenomenal. He can score from anywhere, and he showed tonight, and he's just going to get better. And I think Glenn Anderson, this is the time of year that he steps up. So hopefully our line's just going to keep producing and make the playoff.
One of the all-time great people in the game, Babe Pratt, had 6 assists as a Toronto Maple Leaf, and you tied that mark tonight. You should be very proud of that, and congratulations.
Well, Mike Foligno said after the game, he said he played with Babe Pratt. No.
I knew I was in trouble when you said Foligno. Congratulations again. Doug Gilmour, big 2 points and a big 6 assists.
The Maple Leafs beating the Minnesota North Stars 6-1. Thank you. Doug Gilmour didn't even get a star on that game. I can't believe that he would have done that. At any rate, the Leafs win at 6-1. Gilmour was 6 assists on the night. You're watching Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classics on Leafs TV.